In 3, 2, 1.
Freedom Friday with Carl Gallups, the Oval Office of Gulf Coast Talk Radio.
All right, welcome back, Gulf Coast. Welcome back, America. And welcome back, Mike Zullo. Mike, you in the house?
Yes, I am.
All right, good deal. Let's just jump right back into this. And so, folks, Mike Zullo, of course, the former lead investigator for the Barack Obama fraud birth certificate case under Sheriff Joe Arpaio and the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, the fourth largest sheriff's office in the nation. Several years of criminal investigation, two different digital document expert entities using two different sciences on two different continents, neither one aware that the other one was involved in the case. They both came to the very same conclusion that the Johanna document used to build and to fabricate Barack Obama's template document from the ground up. The thing is a fraud, and therefore there have been multiple felonies committed by somebody in the Obama administration, and whether or not Barack Obama's culpable or not himself, that would be up to judges and courts. But the bottom line is there's enough evidence now, forensic evidence, courtroom-ready evidence, to be heard by a court, to be heard by congressional investigation, to be heard by federal law enforcement, and so far, crickets. But as far as something have happened today, but not really, because there are many people that now know about this and many people that are involved. And as I said just a few days ago, several government officials contacted Mike Zullo, and we can't promise you what's going to happen from it, but I'm just saying people are still interested, people are still talking about it at the federal level, and Mike Zullo's not going away, and I'm not going away, and Sheriff Arpaio's not going away on this issue. Now, in the meantime, Mike, I got to ask you, so several weeks ago, the largest newspaper in Arizona, and they were running an interview on the Arpaio trial and your involvement in it, and Dennis Montgomery and various NSA workers, CIA workers that developed the spy software. One of them, Kirk WEBY, I had on my show it was last week, I think. And so they ran this interview, and they called you, or they ran this article. They called you for an interview, and you refused to give an interview with them. Why don't you tell our listeners why, and some of the junk that you've put up with from that publication and others and people involved with it?
Well, the short answer is there's no point to giving these people an interview because they never report what you say.
Well, they're fake. You mean they're fake news?
Oh, fake news with a capital F and a capital N. I mean, it's fake news. It's never reported as to how you say it. When they get information from you that doesn't work along the lines of the theme of their story, they'll run out and they'll get, for example, there's a gentleman that is, basically an internet stalker of me, and they'll use this individual as a creditable source. Mm-hmm. This is an individual who had a very brief stint with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, has no true law enforcement experience in his background. As a matter of fact, was fired from a volunteer law enforcement position years ago, was under investigation, was relieved of his badge and gun, and ultimately fired for a truthfulness issue, was under investigation for sexual harassment while he was there. An individual whose background is just sordid. I could go on forever. Mm-hmm. But they'll prop this guy up as if he's some authority on the sheriff, some authority on the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, some authority on the birth certificate investigation, and some authority on me.
And wasn't he released Wasn't he released from his duties at Maricopa County Sheriff's Office as well?
Actually, he was going to be, and he quit before that was going to happen.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll ask you, Carl, and especially the business that you're in now as a profession, if you know somebody for 8 weeks, if you've been in a position of employment for 8 weeks, how much of that corporation would you know about?
Yeah.
Nothing.
8
weeks.
Zero.
You don't know anything.
Yeah.
All right? So they will constantly defer to this individual as some type of authority. There is no reason for me to give any credibility to that kind of procedure, that lack of integrity.
Yeah.
I just simply will not answer it.
Yeah. I've read articles from that same newspaper, and I've answered people who've asked questions on our sites, Facebook sites and our blog sites, about that. Well, why don't you talk about that? Well, why didn't you quote that? And my answer has been, why would I quote them? I mean, they're very seldom completely correct. They might get a few things correct. They might go quote some court documents and stuff and say, well, see, we quoted the court documents. How can we be wrong? But it's just like you said. They'll do an interview with you and not say what you said, or they won't put it in the proper context. And then they'll use people like the guy you're talking about that has, you know, all of these problems that you've just talked about, and they'll use him as the authority and try to make it look like you're the idiot when really it's the other way around. So why would I even respond to them? Why would I even acknowledge them?
This is the most incredible thing regarding that article that was written. It has to do with the civil federal trial, the Montgomery investigation that took place in Seattle. And what your audience needs to understand